Yo. What's going down? Welcome to the City Rottweilers podcast. I am your captain, your host, your main man, Mr. Corey. And today's guest, we got Mr. Can I call you Phil?
That's
I'm gonna call you Phil.
Feels good, man. Feels good.
Got the cool player partner Phil representing PGG Rottweilers in the building. What's up, bro?
Oh, nothing much, man. Pleasure to be here.
Hey, man. Appreciate you for excuse me for joining, man. This hair has been in the works for a little minute, but we finally here and we finally got it popping, man. So again, bro, thank you.
Absolutely. Always, man. Always. Like I said, excited, bro.
Yeah, man. So tell me a little bit about yourself. Where you from, and how you got into this game.
Got you, man. So I'm from Lafayette, Louisiana. Yes, sir. Man, my grandfather been breeding Rottweilers for forever. Something I stopped after, moving here and going to school. And then it was something I knew, I always knew I wanted to pick it back up.
Yeah.
So I got my first Rottweiler back in, 2014.
Okay.
And like I said, I've been rolling since, man.
So how long you been in Houston?
I've been in Houston since 2009. I came to school out here, went to U of H, go Cougs, and
All right.
what I'm saying, got to rep it. But went to U of H, and then I just stayed here, man. I never moved back home.
Hey man, Houston tends to do that to people.
Absolutely, opportunities.
Man, but look, Lafayette, man, a lot of people they like to give New Orleans all the shine of the state of Louisiana, but man, look, there's some good eating out there in that Lafayette, man.
Absolutely, and that price right? The
Yeah.
price right, man. You get all the same vibes, all the same feel, but you at a lower price point, which
See, I like that country vibe a little bit, that Lafayette bring. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, I'm absolutely with it, man. I can't never let that country leave.
Yeah, and I think y'all got a little bit more of that Creole.
Yes,
That
sir.
Creole side, and like I said, New Orleans trying to get all the shine. No disrespect to my waters, but
Absolutely.
that 337 be rocking, man.
Yes, it do.
Yeah, man. So, excuse me, man. Me just knowing a little bit about you already. You played football for the U of H, right?
Little bit of that.
Yeah. So, that's what brought you to the U of H? You had a scholarship or what?
I had a scholarship, but it was an academic scholarship.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, academic scholarship, and like I said, man, paying for me to go to school. What more could you ask for, right?
Right.
Try to capitalize on that and make the most of that opportunity, man.
You had offers to go anywhere else?
I did, man. I had so me playing in high school, man. I got injured like my senior year. Ended up not playing.
Yeah.
Had a couple smaller schools that wanted me to go out there. Some far schools. One was like North Dakota State. But like I said, yeah, man, I'm from Louisiana. And I ain't got no business in North Dakota.
Right.
So like I said, I knew academics was definitely gonna come through. I was gonna go to my University of Miami and Tulane. That was probably like my two other top schools to go to. But U of H, man, just coming out here doing a little tour, seeing kind of like all the opportunities around the city.
Yeah.
And that's what really brought me here. And like I said, kept me here too.
Man, you picked U of H over to you?
Oh yeah, man, yeah.
I ain't gonna lie, I had that opportunity. I don't know.
And me being young too, is also thinking for the future too, man. Going to Miami is gonna be a lot more distractions, man. So the goal is, like I said, I came from, I ain't come from the best situation growing up. So it's like, man, I knew that with me having that opportunity, especially for academics to go to school, that it was a must that I capitalized. That I'm probably gonna return back to the same environment that I just left.
Most definitely, man, and I think you did. You know what I'm saying? You made the right decision because look where you're at now. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Because that Miami, I always see how they got a college out there. What's their graduation rate, man?
Different type of life.
Yeah, for real, man. So you got into your own situation with the dogs in 2014, but you said your grandfather had Rottweiler growing up?
Yeah, absolutely. He was a dog man, so he had Rottweilers. He had all types of different hunting dogs, man. He hunted a lot, but he used to do a lot of dog training. He had Dobermans too, man. So,
okay.
Yeah, a lot of big dogs, man.
You ever use the Rotties in like the hunting stuff or what?
Nah, man. Pretty much the Rotties was like his companion dog, the dog that he take around the town, or like I said, protection. But yeah, you know, for hunting dogs, man, he had the big deer hounds, he had the big beagles. Yeah, man, like hog hunting, deer hunting, rabbit hunting. That's what he focused on.
Because I was curious to know if a Rottweiler could be used, you know what I mean, like as a game dog in that sense, you know, because you know they working dog, but like never really heard of them like actually like hunting prey or nothing like that. So that's why I asked, you know what I mean.
Man, I think, my opinion, like I said, if you train them to it, man, I don't think it's something that they couldn't do.
Right.
That bite pressure that they got and that will to work for their master.
Yeah.
Like I said, man, that might be a badass hunting dog that you're gonna have right there.
For real. You know, I don't want to be biased, but I think like Roddy's kind of like, I don't want to say the perfect dog, but like you can kind of use them for something as big as hunting, or something as low as just a companion. You know what I mean, and everything in between. And that, you know, that'd be tight. You know what I mean? Because you know, you hear about the history of them being like herding dogs.
Yeah.
You know, carrying the carts for like the butchers and all that, but you ain't never really heard of them.
Hunting dogs. Yeah. But not
tight.
Like you said, you know, absolutely perfect dog in my opinion as well. Man, you see service dogs, you see them caring for, you know, people with disabilities and how they're able to be so calm and they have that demeanor. But then you also see that other side where they're ready to turn up and you have that protection dog, you know, doing bite work and those types of things. And so, like I said, yeah, man, I had no doubt, man. You train that Rottweiler the right way, you have a badass catch dog, man.
So, with your grandfather, would you say that was like the first time like you kind of like fell in love with the breed?
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. It became a family thing, man, and I think that's probably something else that also helped because I mean, all my aunts, man, everybody had a Rottweiler.
Yeah.
He started it, and then, like I said, it trickled down. My mom had 6 sisters, man. So,
no wonder why he had all of them.
You know what I'm saying? So, she got all them sisters, and like I said, man, every one of them had a Rottweiler too, man. And so, even the neighbors down the street, man, he had basically his whole street. You know, it was Rottweilers everywhere in his little neighborhood, man, because, like I said, it's a perfect dog.
You know, mind me asking, your grandfather still around?
Nah, he passed away back in, I believe in like 2017, yeah.
All right, man, sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
Cause why I asked him if he was still, you know, riding with the dogs or whatever, or if any of his lineage is still, you know, kind of around where you grew up at.
Yeah, man, like I said, the only person I can really think of is, he used to have this neighbor, man, that lived down the street from him. And I know he's still heavy into breeding, man. He breeds typically like we was talking about earlier. A lot of these old school Rottweilers, like I said, the perfect guard dogs, the ones that, like I said, the really game Rottweilers. He's breeding into those, and that's exactly what my grandfather had. And like I said, I'm pretty positive. You know, you go back and you track it through the registry or through the lineage, it's gonna be a lot of the dogs that my grandfather started with.
Yeah. So, did you get any breeding experience back then, you know, hanging around your grandfather, or was it later on when you got your own?
Oh no, definitely with him, man. He'd have puppies pretty often. I mean, he teach you, you know, from making sure that a female has the good delivery, you know, making sure they get a tie, what you need to do, when you should breed, when you shouldn't breed, trying to uphold his certain standard of what he looked for in the dog.
Yeah.
Like I said, whelping puppies, man, he kept us very hands-on with those types of things, from the Rottweilers to the hunting dogs as well. And so that's something how I picked up a little bit of the training that I know as well, because like I said, seeing him do it over and over and him getting you involved into it, is, like I said, it was something I was definitely going to pick up just a matter of time.
Man, that's cool that you was able to, you know, get it so young and get that experience, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, you got your own first one, what you said, back in 2014?
Yeah, by 2014.
How that process went?
Man, it was real good, man. One of my friends who I actually went to U of H with, she had got one before me, and so she got one from the breeder, and man, I love the way a dog looked. Big head, dark pigment, man. Just a massive dog, man. And I asked her for her breeder's info, and ended up being able to get my own, man.
Was he here local in the Houston area? Or?
Yeah, he was around Huntsville. He was around the Huntsville area. I don't think he's still breeding anymore. I'm not 100% sure, but it was an older guy, and like I said, all the dogs he had, man, real hard German lines. really big dogs, but like once again, they still had that drive and that work ethic. And like I said, man, when I went there, I was like, yeah, I know this is definitely what I want.
Man, that's crazy. I mean, the last Roddy my daddy had came from that Huntsville area.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember the bloodline off the top of my head. It was, to me, kind of sounded like it was like Native American, Akuza or something like that bloodline. You familiar with that?
Nah, I'm not familiar with that one.
Yeah, nah, but see, that led me to go get my first Rottweiler from them. And by the time I came around, they kind of let their kennel go down. So
Gotcha.
I was curious, like, if that was the same people, but you tend to see like Rottie breeders is a lot of old school cats.
Absolutely.
Like we kind of like we changing the game, you know what I mean? Because we younger, and you don't really see too many younger cats in the Rottie game. And even when I take my Rottweilers out, people like, man, I ain't seen a Rottweiler like that and for a long time. I'm like, man, you know, in my mind, the Rottie kind of been around, you know, for a minute, but you know that bully gang kind of like took out the shine, you know what I'm saying, out of them Rotties.
Absolutely. I get the same thing, man. I'll take mine out, do some training or some work, and it's the same thing. I ain't seen a Rottie in years.
Right.
Guy told me, he said, I thought they was extinct. I'm like, man, they still around, man. You just,
Right.
you know, it's a popular dog, man. You just not seeing them, like you said, at the frequency that you would think you would, because most people now, they want to bully or French you.
What's one of the first things you look for in vetting the process of looking for a dog that you want?
So my style, man, my style for Rotties is I like the big and dark pigment Rotties. But also I want to see the drive. Like, I don't want a Rottie that's gonna come in, like I said, it's just a couch potato, just wants to lay. That's not what I'm used to. I want one that's gonna get out there and work. So I probably say first thing I'm gonna look for is that ability to work. Can it work? What's the ball drive like? What's the, just the overall drive of the dog? How willing is the dog to work for you?
Right.
If it doesn't have that, I'm not even gonna waste my time with it.
So, how do you go about like testing it out? Like, do you know what I mean? You bring balls or food yourself when you go, check out the dog. You check out the parents. Like, let the people know what's the steps they should take if they're looking for a high drive dog.
I'll definitely, like I said, if you're able to see the dog in person, I would definitely say, man, if the owner, the breeder's okay with you, interacting with the dog on that level, definitely, man. If you could bring a ball or have him, send you videos of the dog working, and like I said, a lot of times now, people buying dogs off, over the internet, basically. You find someone on Instagram, or maybe you see they puppy videos on TikTok, and that's what you're using to kind of vet and make sure this is the right dog for you. But I think something for me, man, is I always, hey, can I see the dog? Let me see the dog working. Let me see the dog interacting with other dogs. How does the dog interact with strangers? Because like I said, if you fail to vet that, then you may get a dog that has too much drive for your liking, or you may get a dog that doesn't have enough drive for your liking. So it's seeing that dog, and then also, like I said, researching the bloodlines. Like, what are the if it's a champion or a title dog, what is it titled in?
Right.
Is it just a regular show champion, or is it a working champion? And so, like I said, that's things that I definitely look for.
I see a lot of people, they ask you certain things when they're trying to buy a dog, but they really don't be knowing. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I like for you to break it down for them. Just because, you coming from a different plateau, just because you got that experience, you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
People love to hear from the vets, man, because, you got your personal dog in 2014, but man, you what, like 10 plus, 15 years plus in the game, man.
Yeah.
Hanging around her pawpaw, man. You know what I'm saying?
Old school knowledge.
Man, and that's cool, bro, because, the breed that we get misrepresented, you know what I'm saying? And like, I know you done heard a lot of like ignorance that gets spread around on what you should do and how you should do certain things.
Yeah.
And some of the stuff that I hear be crazy. You know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure you hear the same. Excuse me, man. Yeah, man. I'm trying to pick your brain a little bit. This ain't no interview. This is a conversation. You know what I'm saying? How you got into the making of food?
So the dog food, man, it was literally me trying to find the best food possible to get the best of my dog to look a certain way and be able to perform a certain way. And so I started making dog food just as something that I was doing for my personal dog. It wasn't a business idea. It was no, like I said, it was no business influence behind it. It was literally just a personal decision. After I started making it and started seeing, how my dog's coat looked, how I'm able to maintain his weight and keep his weight a certain way or increase his weight just by like increasing and decreasing the level so easily, not seeing, the licking of the paws, the allergies, and just like I said, overall health. It was something I knew. I was like, okay, like I got it right here. And I worked years just to, like I said, just trying different things out, man, different formulas, and using different ingredients to come up with the right thing.
Right.
And like I said, man, once I found it, and I found that sweet spot. You take your dog out somewhere and someone will say, hey, man, what you feed your dog? And then it became, hey, man, I make his own raw food. And I remember the first guy, he was like, hey, man, can I buy some of it? And I was like, man, buy some of it. Like, this is my stuff.
Yeah.
But I ended up, like I said, selling it to him. And then ever since then, man, like I said, man, I was like, okay, man, if people are willing to buy it and they liking the way my dog looks, I'm seeing the health benefits myself. Let me put a little strategy, a little marketing into it, and let's see what happens.
Now, is your dog strictly on the raw food, or do you mix it in with kibble or what?
And so primarily, he's strictly on the raw food. The only thing I use kibble for is most of the time, like I said, training, or maybe, like I said, as a filler, a little bit. But like I said, they don't eat much kibble. I'd say probably about 95% of their diet is raw food that I make.
What's the benefits that you saw kind of like over time, or instantly, or over time, or that timeline? Like what were some of the differences that you had noticed?
So I'll say first with the coat, man. Feeding kibble, a lot of people, they'll put coconut oil, they'll put dine, salmon oil, it's all different things, even supplements, just to try to get that shiny coat and stop all that shedding. If you've had a Rottweiler in the house, man, they shed crazy. And like I said, you got that period between where it's converting from summer to winter and then winter to summer. And I mean, you don't have a wig on your floor.
Yeah, for real.
But over time, I would say probably about a month, maybe about 2 months, man, after feeding them pretty much strictly. Whenever I made the switch, it was strictly the raw. So it was no more kibble. And I would see how less hair he's shedding in those important and critical months, like I said, from winter to summer. And so the shedding definitely decreases. It doesn't eliminate it. Like, you can't eliminate it, but it definitely decreases the amount that they shed. And then the same thing with the shininess of the coat, man. Every time you see them, the coat looks like it's just been washed. Looks like it might have a little oil in it because it's shiny, it's very reflective. But like I said, the dog will be dirty and it still has that shine. They don't have that foul smell that dogs can get after running and playing so often. That was probably the biggest immediate change that I noticed right then and there, was just that coat difference is crazy.
Did your dog adjust to it right away, or it took time? You got any finicky eaters?
Man, I have the male Boosie I have, man. He probably the most finicky, but he loved the raw food, man. And matter of fact, like I said, trying to train him with the kibble, man, it don't really work that much because he looking for the raw food. But like I said, the other female I have, man, she'll eat anything. You can give her a brick and she'll chew it up and try to digest it.
So what's the process? Well, you don't gotta give your secrets away, but how long is the process, or like what's some of like the generic basic things that entail with like coming up with, your recipes, or like how you go about making it? You don't gotta give away your secrets, but
Nah, I got you. So man, the biggest thing is just trying to make sure that the dog has all the nutrients that it needs. A lot of people you'll see, man, they'll just toss the dog some chicken, leg quarters, or toss it, a little bit of beef and say, hey man, I'm feeding my dog raw. And it's cool. Like I said, it's good for them. But at the same time, man, dogs gotta have vegetables. They need to have some some different forms of macronutrients. And you got the carbs. Everybody needs that. You can't just give it meat and think that that's all it needs. Because dog food, depending on the dog food you feed, it can be made up of mostly of meat, but then it's also gonna have some grains. It's gonna have some carbs. It'll have some vitamins and minerals in there. And so what I worked on was literally just making sure that the dog gets all of its nutrients it needs from eating that one meal of raw. And so that's always been the goal. And so it's like I said, picking out quality meat, quality fruits, quality vegetables, and just making sure that the amounts are good and appropriate.
Because I know you gotta have that balance with like they gotta have that protein, they gotta have some organ meat in there, they gotta have some bone and things of that stuff, right?
Absolutely.
And see, I didn't know in the beginning of this journey that dogs actually need like vegetables and stuff like that. When I first heard it, I was like, man, what? Dogs eat vegetables?
Yeah. And people don't think about it, but it's like you think about a wolf, man. A wolf in the wild, man. They'll eat maybe they'll eat a deer, right? And the stomach contents of the deer is literally all deer don't, they don't eat meat, man. They eat acorns, they eat shrubs and berries. And so when they eat the inside of that stomach line, and they're getting that nutrients from the deer.
Right.
And so, like I said, that's why it's very important. People will bypass that and think that, dogs in the wild don't eat it, but they absolutely do.
Right. Is it as expensive to make it as it is like purchasing it when you come to making your raw?
Nah, it's not as expensive as it is to purchase it, man. And my thing is I try to keep the cost down while still making quality. And I think that's the hardest part. And I'm a pretty picky person, man. So when I'm purchasing cattle, if I don't like the way the cow looks, man, I'm not going to get it. If I don't like the way the paperwork or the history of the cow looks, I'm not going to get the cow. And it's the same thing with the fruits and the vegetables. It's, vetting that and making sure it comes from a good source, good quality, trustable source. And so, like I said, that's probably the biggest, I probably say the most expensive part of it is probably the time.
Oh, man. Break that down, man.
Yeah.
I didn't know you go out there and go vet your cattle and all that stuff. I thought you was going, get store-bought stuff, you know what I'm saying?
Nah, man. So I go and get the cattle, man, and I get the cattle butchered. I got a butcher, slaughterhouse, man, that I go to. They'll slaughter the cow for me, and then man, we cut up the cow ourselves. We cut up the whole entire cow. So every piece of meat that we put into the dog food, we hand cut that by ourselves, man. Yeah, so we down into it. The same thing with the organ meat. If the organs don't look good, then we ain't gonna use it because we vetting that. We control the quality ourselves.
Man, you real country boy.
Yeah, man. Yeah, cowboy, man. There we go. Gotta get them Texas roots in.
Yeah, we probably gonna get the livestock finding out your new batch.
Hey, with the hat on, man. The hat and the boots, man.
Man, that's crazy. I ain't even think about that because I see people online when they talk about they raw stuff, and a lot of times you see people on YouTube, they going to like Walmart to go get their ground beef and their chicken, and because I tried to do it myself, but I find it's hard trying to find the organ meat. Like I call around and people, even going in the store, they look at you crazy. Y'all got beef heart, you know what I'm saying? They were like, you know what I'm saying? So that took me like finding other options online and just actually purchasing it, and it can get a little expensive buying that, from other people.
Nah, absolutely. You think about the prices of beef right now in the store, man.
Ain't crazy.
One pound pack of ground beef, man. I think that's like $3-4 right now. And I mean, we sell per pound one pound of beef dog food is only $6.
Yeah.
And like I said, it has everything that your dog will need for a complete meal. And so, like I said, you think about getting everything you need from the store, you'll spend way more than $6 trying to make a pound of dog food. You getting it from the store, but like I said, because we're able to control the quality and we go and get everything ourselves, we're able to keep that price point to a reasonable price. And like I said, it's basically at wholesale prices.
Now, are you able to get a lot of dog food out of one cow with your beef recipe? Like how that work?
Yeah, so we can you can get a whole bunch of dog food out of it. It's all about like I said, how you break it down, and then like I said, it starts off probably first with just making sure you have a good cow that you can use the entire cow. Some people, you can try and cut corners and get a cheaper cow, and the cow doesn't have as much meat on it, or the cow's not in that good of a shape, and so the meat won't be as good as you getting a top choice cow.
Yeah.
And so if you put the time in on that and make sure you getting the right cattle, like I said, you'll get more bang for your buck.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, do you just do strictly beef recipes, or what other kind of recipes do you do?
So we do beef, we do chicken, and we do turkey.
Okay.
beef and chicken are the ones we have on hand most of the time. Turkey is, like I said, turkey is pretty hard to get. And like I said, just making sure once again that the turkey is quality. It's pretty hard to get, and then like I said, so you have to pre-order the turkey if you do want the turkey.
Yeah, because you know, some dogs they have like allergies to like chicken and stuff.
Absolutely. And we have a good bit of people who, like you said, man, that dog does have allergies to chicken. And so they do opt for the turkey option. But like I said, the turkey, you know, you can't really go and find turkey in a lot of places. You have to get it from a special place. And so because of that, like I said, it makes it a little harder for us to get.
Man, that's cool, bro. So sound like you a farmer eventually, huh?
Eventually, it's in the plans, man. We working towards it.
Man, that's real live, bro. Cause damn, bro, learn something new every day.
Yes, sir.
I'm thinking, you know, when you going to the store and getting all these ingredients and stuff like that. So when it comes to the vegetables, you grow it yourself or you buy from other people as well?
Not yet, man. We don't grow it yet, but that's like I said. In the future, when we do have that farm, man, that's gonna be one of the things we want to do is be able to control everything and have everything at the farm for ourselves. But right now, man, I'm getting it from other sources. So that's what we talked about. Like I said, that time, man, is just making sure try to find out where can I get quality ingredients at a reasonable price from a trusted source. And so, like I said, yeah, we getting it from other sources.
That's cool. You went to school like agriculture or something, or like how did you know what to look for?
Nah, so I went to school for biology and chemistry, man. So no agriculture, but like I said, it just came from a lot of researching, man, and just like I said, talking to people who are in the industry. Anytime you're trying to get into a certain industry, it's something that I've learned is before diving in, and like I said, people are going to use Google, and that's cool. Google will tell you, you know, a lot of the generic information, but man, if you can find somebody who's in the cattle, you can find somebody who's in the vegetables. Talk to a local farmer. Talk to them, hey man, what should I be looking for? How can I find this? A lot of times you'll find better information than you will find from Google.
Man, no wonder why your dog looking good, man.
There we go, yeah. Certified.
That nice steak, New York strip style.
Hey, they eat better than me, man.
Hey, you ever thought about putting one of them patties together, making a burger out of it?
Hey, yeah. Hey, I tell you what, man, you definitely could, man. I take the little fruit and the seeds out, but man, you definitely could. It's top choice.
That's crazy, man. You really wowed me right quick, man, because I ain't never think about it. You know what I mean? Because like being around the dogs and doing the stuff that I do now, I kind of like wish I could go back to school and go for like agriculture or something like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
It'll kind of like make you want to be a farmer in a sense. You know what I'm saying? Like you see all this, you know, I be having like ideas and like, I mean, we ain't got enough space for no cattle or nothing like that, but you know, we could put like in a little garden or something in the corner somewhere.
Absolutely.
Like I mean, because I would love to feed my dog strictly raw. You know what I'm saying? But like you said, that price with that raw, at least in the beginning, before I met you. You know what I'm saying? By the way, I need to place an order.
Got you.
Because you hear like some of these corporate brands of raw food that you can get, you know what I mean, ship a mail to you. It's cool when the dogs love it, but you know, you hit your pockets, you know what I'm saying? So I mean that's cool that you give people that middle option to make it affordable for them, you know what I mean?
Nah, absolutely. Like you said, man, with all these major, and I thought about that. I went down that route to before when I realized, like, man, I want to switch my dog to raw. Just looking for different options, and it's like I said, man, when a lot of these companies, Rottweilers, man, you know, big dogs, they need a lot of food, man. So you think about it, man. I remember this one company, man. It was like I want to say it was like $140 a week, man, that they was gonna charge you for the food, and I'm like, man, that was just for one. It's like, man, you have 2, 3, 4, 5 dogs. You think about that, $500 a week. Man, that's some serious money right there.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy. So do you have to feed them more versus with the kibble? You know what I mean? Kibble. I kind of look at the raw and kibble kind of like cooked food versus fast food. You know what I'm saying? So when you make that transition for your dog to the raw, do you have to feed them more, or how often you got to feed them, or what?
So you don't have to feed them. You don't have to feed them any more than you would with the kibble. Typically with the raw, about 2.5% of their body weight is what they need to eat per day. So you think about you have let's just say 100-pound Rottweiler, they need about 2.5 pounds of food. And that also is going to depend on how active they are. If you got a dog that's, pretty lazy, or let me not say lazy, but it's pretty chill, it's in the house, it's not really doing too much work, you might want to need to go ahead and decrease that 2.5 to 2% just to make sure, they have that body style that you want them to. But if you have a dog that's super active and that's burning through calories, maybe you working this dog nonstop during the day, a real working dog, you might have to increase it a little bit. Yeah. But when you look at the cost of kibble, especially trying to buy a good kibble, right? Yeah. Like I said, the price point is gonna be about the same. And like I said, the biggest thing is the health benefits that you're gonna see from the raw food is that if you get the right raw food, is that you're gonna see less issues come up, which won't hit your pockets at the vet. So initially it may be about the same, but like I said, in the future you're gonna definitely see that return come back to you.
Do you have to? Do the dogs get all the nutrients that they need in the raw? Do you have to still like give them vitamins and supplements or like that?
Oh no! So everything that they need for their meal is in the raw. So there's no supplements that's needed. You can give them extra supplements. Like I said, I'm not saying not to, but if you feed them 100% of the raw that we make, man, they don't need any supplements. They will be absolutely good to go.
So how did you get Boosie to adjust? Because he said he's the finicky eater.
Just like I said, man, there's a certain way that we try to feed the dogs is we don't leave food with them 24/7. So they know that when that bowl is out, that's the time to eat the food, and then the bowl is taken away. Yeah. And so, like I said, over time at first, he play with it a little bit, eat a little bit of it. But once he ate it and realized what it was, after then it's been lights out, man. He's got a favorite. He likes the beef more than he likes the chicken. But like I said, man, it's been lights out since then because he knows, hey, I gotta eat. This is the time that I'm eating, or we'll use it as a treat when we working him. So when I'm doing the training with him, what I'll have in my hand, I'll have maybe balled up a little frozen pieces of raw, and that'll be part of his daily allotment for the food that he's gonna get that day.
Minus some of the allergies that come with particular food, is there one that's better than the other versus what I mean? Like, is it beef better than chicken or chicken better than beef, or does it even matter?
Nah, I don't think it matters. I would say maybe if you have a certain goal for your dog, like let's say you want your dog to lean out, the best option is probably going to be to go to the turkey. Turkey's going to be absolutely way more leaner than the beef or the chicken. If you want your dog to bulk up and put on weight, you have maybe a malnourished dog or the dog got sick, you want it to bounce back really quickly, I'd go with the beef because it has more calories. It has more calories than the chicken is going to have. But like I said, it just depends on the goals that you have. But I don't necessarily think one's better than the other.
Can a dog get overweight when you're feeding it raw?
Oh, absolutely, man. The dog can. If you don't keep track of how much you're feeding that dog and their activity level, it can put on weight really, really quickly. And so that's why it's very important to be honest with, hey, this is how active my dog is. If you take your dog for, 2 10-minute walks, then your dog's not really active. Maybe it plays around in the house and stuff, but it's not running so much, it's not expending too much energy with the amount of exercise that it's getting. So like I said, you're gonna want to feed it on the short end, give it maybe 2 pounds, maybe even 1.5 pounds to adjust so that it doesn't get overweight. Now, if you have a dog that, like you said, you may have a dog on the farm, maybe you're training the dog for protection or for hunting or whatever it is that you're doing, that dog's just spending so much calories. You're gonna want to feed it on the higher end, about 2.5, maybe even 3, depending on how often that dog is being worked, to keep its body at a certain weight. And that's what you have to, some people want their dog to be a little heavier, and some people want their dog a little lighter. That's the benefit is with the raw, you can really easily, you'll see the impact of the raw on the dog's body, and you can really cut back or increase and do it efficiently.
Yeah. What about when it comes to like the whelping moms? You still keep them on that raw feed, and then when they have their puppies or when it's time for puppies to kind of like start weaning off a mom, like how you introduce the puppies to the raw?
Oh yeah, so with the whelping moms, absolutely, they can stay on the raw. There's not going to be any harm there. And then for the puppies, like I said, man, as you're starting to get the puppies off of the milk, you can absolutely make puppy mush with the dog with the raw food. It's just like I said, I would grind it up probably a little bit more finer than I do for the bigger dogs to make sure there's no issues with digestion. And it, you start off, of course, with more milk than the raw food, but absolutely you could mix that in instead of using that dog food. And like I said, man, it'll be perfectly fine.
You ever notice the change in like how the production of the puppies come out with a mom that's on the raw versus the kibble?
Not necessarily changing how the puppies come out, but you can definitely see the impact on the puppies when the puppies growing. Like if you start them with the puppies that I've seen started on the raw with the puppy mush, and just kept with that raw either as a supplement to what they're already eating with a little bit of the kibble, or just all the way on the raw. Man, the puppy size is just completely different. They're growing because they're growing, and like I said, they tend to be bigger simply because they're getting a lot more nutrients. And growing puppies, man, they need that extra nutrients coming out of when they're in them initial stages. Yeah.
That's a lot of damn food.
Yeah.
Puppies.
Yeah.
They have big litters. There's gonna be a whole lot of like how do you make sure that each dog is getting enough? You know what I'm saying when it comes to the raw? Because I feel like when you're breaking it down as fine as it is, it's real like soupy almost. You know what I'm saying? Like, so how do you make sure that they getting every bit of what they need in order to grow properly?
Nah, absolutely. And so, of course, like I said, with the puppies and as they're growing, initially it may start out with the milk and you feeding them every 2 hours, and then when you start whelping them and you start putting them on getting them on that puppy mush, you're not feeding them necessarily every 2 hours with the puppy mush. It's just letting them go ahead, and some people will let them eat till they get full. And like I said, it can be, of course, it's gonna be more milk than raw food whenever you just starting out. But as you continue to grow, like I said, they'll eat till they get full. You'll start to see that they get that saggy belly and they're ready to go lay down. And like I said, if there needs to be more, you can always go ahead and add more raw, just to make sure if you see a puppy, maybe a little bit smaller than the rest, you can always go ahead and let that puppy eat alone and make sure that puppy gets, it's full before, the rest of the litter comes.
It seems like it's a little bit more of a smoother process when it comes with the raw, because you ain't got to go out there blending.
Yeah.
You gotta, soak up the kibble in water or whatever, and it's like how you said the word filler earlier. I feel like kibble is pretty much a lot of filler. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Like getting that straight up nutrients from the raw, they getting it like strictly from the source almost, and it's not like imitation. You know what I'm saying?
Nah, absolutely. I take for example, man, my female Root, man, dog food, man, she will devour. I mean, you can give her 3-4 cups of dog food. This dog gonna clean the bowl every single time. And there's a lot of these big dogs, they like that. They had a ravaging appetite. But what I see with the raw is, like I said, I'll feed her in the morning after working her, and I'll give her half of her daily allotment for raw. And she'll eat it, and sometimes, like I said, there's a little bit of food left over when I'm pulling that bowl out. Because it'll definitely fill her a lot more, because it's very nutrient dense. And then you'll notice with how often they're pooing. You'll notice when they poo, a dog on kibble that's just eating strictly kibble, man, they poo a lot. And meanwhile, my dogs on raw, like I said, you may see them poo once, twice a day. That's it. Because they're soaking up all those nutrients. It's not a lot that's wasted.
And I ain't gonna lie, man, it might sound nasty. That raw poo, it look rich.
Yeah.
You can definitely see the difference.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Some people might be disgusted, but like the first time I used one of them big corporations, I started seeing the carrots and all the other stuff in they poo, and I'm like, damn, you know what I mean? It didn't click in my head like it's straight up nutrients. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. And they have like you said, some people may get disgusted, but they have a different smell.
Yeah, well, they don't really smell like that.
Exactly. I know with, like I said, from experience from feeding them pretty much a straight kibble diet, man, when they poo, man, it smells, it travel, but with
gas too.
Absolutely. You don't see that with the raw. Like I said, I mean, I'm not gonna sit there and say the poo smells good, but it's like I said, it don't have that foul smell, that foul odor. And so, like I said, once you see that, it's kind of like, okay, this must be, it must be really good for them.
Is it still like an adjustment period of time that you gotta wait before you go work your dog out after that and ate raw, or since the raw is a little bit more rich, it's a little bit more lighter, they can kind of like instantly go like train or do something like that?
So typically, man, what I'll do is I'll use it while we train it. So I use it as a treat, and then I'll feed them afterwards. What I've seen from my personal experiences, you feed them before, then you get them to work. They ate, they got their belly full, man. They gonna be a little lazier, yeah. But if they working for that food, man, like I said, they'll go all out for you. Yeah.
So you make treats too, or you just take a little bit of their food and turn it into a treat?
Yeah, I'll take a little bit of the food and turn it into a treat. Treats is something we're working on. We trying to, I don't want to come out with something and it doesn't meet the quality that I'm hoping for. But that's something that we're working on. And hopefully, I'd probably say hopefully by the summer, man, we have something that we feel comfortable and we proud of, and we can go ahead and incorporate that.
What type of training do you do with your dog?
Mainly just basic obedience. Basic obedience, man. Like I said, it's great having a big dog, but you'll see these big dogs in public and you'll see the owner, they have no control of the dog, man. The dog does whatever. When I go in public, I want my dog to be with me, focused on me. And then, like I said, when it's in its free period, you go ahead and let them have that free period for themselves, for that enrichment. They can go do what they need to do. But for the most part, when we in public, I want them to be there with me.
Gotcha. You ever been to any shows?
Oh man, I haven't been to too many shows. Been a couple local shows, but that's something I want to get more into this year. Is going to some of these shows. I remember Dog Life had one in Dallas. Wasn't able to make it to that one. I heard that one was pretty epic, man. So I definitely, like I said, hopefully they have one this year that we can definitely pull up and make it to.
Oh, most definitely, man. Yeah, shout out to Maurice and what he's doing out there, because I was trying. I think it was back in November.
Yeah.
I was trying to make it myself and I couldn't, because you don't really see advertisement of dog shows like that. You kind of gotta like know somebody. You know what I mean? Like I'm speaking from my experience. I'm trying to like look it up online and find stuff, and then of course this has also been in the COVID time too.
Yeah.
So maybe wasn't a lot going on, but just trying to find local shows and stuff that's a little bit closer to be able to go get or go watch. You know what I'm saying? Because I lack experience in that. You know what I mean? So I would want to go as a spectator first and just really see what they're doing or how they do it before I just try to put my dog in or something like that. You know what I'm saying?
Nah, definitely. I feel the same way, man. And like you said, man, something I noticed is, like I said, you see so many bully shows, man. If I look up dog shows, man, the first thing that's gonna pop up is a bully show. So like I said, man, it's definitely something that may need to be organized in Houston, man. Have a Houston Rottweiler meetup, man. And like I said, make it go down.
Yeah, because I think Paul Wall, he started doing like a dog show in Humble every year.
Yeah.
But I think mostly is bullies.
Absolutely, it's bullies, man, bullies.
Now I be getting jealous sometimes because they getting all that attention. I don't hate. You know what I'm saying? Because you can learn from that stuff too and what they're doing, but I don't want to play Frankenstein.
I got you.
A lot of people be playing Frankenstein with them bullies, man, and you don't really know what you get.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Some of that extreme stuff that you see when it comes to the ride. How do you feel about that?
Man, like I said, the extremes, I'm not necessarily gonna say that I would ever take my program towards going 100% extreme. I do like some of the dogs that have, like I said, they got a little bit of extreme to them. It's maybe moderate. But man, my thought is at the end of the day is, man, you gotta breed what you like, man.
Right. Man, you just said a jewel. Say that one more time.
You gotta breed what you like, man. I see Tim Mature, man. I see them and they get so much hate in the comments, but man, this guy loves the dogs that he's breeding, and if that makes him happy, who am I to tell you that you're wrong? And
right.
So some people say, hey, they may like a more athletic style Rottie than what I may like. That doesn't make either of us wrong. You just got to go after what you like. So like I said, some of the extreme lines, some people will say Edelstein line is extreme. I like that line. And so like I said, that's something I incorporate. Black Illusion is another line that people say, hey man, it's extreme. It doesn't look like the original Rottweilers from Germany. Man, I love Black Illusion dogs. I'm incorporating that into my program. So, like I said, I may have a little bit extreme, but it'll be extreme to the point where I like it. And like I said, man, if nobody else likes it, well, that's on them.
Yeah, I heard that was I never heard of Black Illusion.
Got you.
What they based out of?
Out of Serbia, man. Serbia. I feel like Serbia, man, they got like some of the best dogs around right now, man. And like I said, for my and you know that's for my liking, but I feel like what I'm seeing coming out of a lot of these kennels in Serbia, I'm a fan of.
Yeah.
And so like I said, it's you gotta go with what you like and what you're comfortable with. If you like the old school bloodlines, man, go and indulge yourself. But if you like extreme and you know you like it super extreme, man, indulge yourself in that as well.
I saw one on Instagram. I wasn't sure if it was a Rottweiler because the snout was just so short.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it kind of like scared me. And it's like, man, you know what I mean? Is that even like healthy for the dog? Because you're already compromising the bite of it. But you know, I don't knock nobody. But you know, it's like you said, different strokes for different folks.
And you mentioned something that's super important in my opinion. It's like, man, is the dog healthy?
Yeah.
If the dog is healthy, doesn't have any issues, you're not compromising, you know, any function of the dog. And like I said, man, you like that extreme short snout. Like you said, man, I can't knock you, man, because you know I may like something a little different that you may not like. But like I said, yeah, man, I'm not. You won't see me breeding super extreme. But it may have, like I said, it may have a little bit extreme compared to what some people may be extreme to them. So, and if it is, like I said, you know, no apologies.
Yeah, man. To me, it's trying to find that perfect blend of it all. Because I've heard someone say like Serbia, their dogs, that's where you go for the look.
Yeah.
German dogs, that's where you go for the drive. You know what I mean? And speaking of that, would you ever get into importing?
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. I love importing. Like I said, as far as what I've been importing is primarily just semen. But like I said, I do want to at least, like I said, play a part in the dogs that I'm creating. But I have no issue with importing. If I see something overseas that I like and that breeders, you know, they trustable and like I said, they respect it and I can vet them, and I absolutely import it. I have no issue with it.
How you? What's your opinion on like the camaraderie amongst the Rottweiler breeders here? I guess locally and also like nationally.
Man, I don't really see it, man, and it's something that I would definitely want to see more of. I feel like, at least in my experience, a lot of the Rottweiler breeders, man, they try to hold a lot of the knowledge and everything for themselves. If it's a newbie that comes into the game and wants to know, hey, how do I do this? How do I do that, man? Instead of them saying, hey, you know, maybe this is what I do or this is how I learn, you know, they ignore you. They'll ignore your request and treat you like a peon because you ain't established.
See, man, I ain't the only one, y'all. I ain't the only one.
But the thing is like I said, and that's not everybody, man. There's a couple people that I've met, man, and like I said, if I ever had a question about, hey, why they were doing a certain thing or what was their process for this, man, it's a couple of them that have dropped, you know, a lot of knowledge, you know. Not to shout out, man, Proctor House Rottweilers. I'm not sure if you're familiar with them, man, but that boy Keon, man, he got a nice YouTube channel, like I said, man. Honest guy, drops. If you ask him a question of, hey, why he's doing this or how he did this, man, in my experience, the guy's been 100% just helpful, man. So,
it's like Proctor House?
Yes, sir, Proctor House. Shout out to him. He's based in Arizona. Okay. Yeah.
Keon?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Keon, come to the show, man.
There we go.
Man, because, you know, I've spoken about that in the past, and like I don't mean to keep going to the bully breed, but it's a lot of camaraderie amongst them. You know?
Yeah.
I don't know because there's so many of them, but like, you know, the Riders is looked at as a OG breed, so it's a lot of game and a lot of knowledge out there. And I try to like, you know, let these cats know like, man, you don't got the secret. You know what I mean? Everything is out there. You know what I'm saying? But it's like if you know something that you see wrong, instead of like, you know, being critical, you know what I mean? Pull a young brother to the side and let them know. You know what I'm saying? Like, nah, bro, like you messing up. This way you messing up at, instead of like, you know, blasting them in the comments or something like that, or like shooting hate. You know what I mean? Because I mean, I get it. People look at it like a competition or whatever, but man, your dog ain't the perfect dog. You know, because there's no such thing as a perfect dog. You know what I'm saying? But like, instead of being critical, help. You know what I mean?
Nah, man, I 100% agree, man. And like I said, that's something that that I've tried to do is if somebody's came at me with a question of, hey, I want to do this, I want to, even if it's questions about raw food, man, I sell raw food. But if you have a question and you say, hey, man, I'm thinking about doing this, if I know it's harmful, man, I'm going to let you know, hey, man, that's probably not the direction you want to go. Because everything that I've learned from somebody else. I didn't know it all when I started either. So it's like I said, if we, you think about if we could all come together and, like I said, pass on that knowledge like a lot of the bully breeds do, man, the Rottweilers would definitely be more of a force to be reckoned with than, when you're looking at some of these other breeds, man, and the camaraderie that they have between their breeds.
Yeah. Lastly, bro, because I don't want to take up too much of your time.
Nah, you good.
From your experience of back when you was with Papa to now doing your own thing, what is some of the similarities and some of the differences that you are noticing in the breed?
Oh man, we can start with let's start with the differences, man. The differences that is probably, I'd probably say for me, forefront is probably temperament. Back when I was with him, like I told you, man, he had the dog that would the dog would dig a hole under the fence or climb the fence and come get you if it needed to, man. It was a great dog for the family, but it wasn't a great dog necessarily for everybody else.
Not to cut you off right there.
Yeah.
Do you think that's needed?
I think it depends on what the job is for the dog. If you were somebody living in the suburbs who just wants a companion, you love the way the Rottweiler looks and the things you can do with the dog, having that, and you have, you got kids, you're not really big into training, I would probably say that game style Rottweiler is not the one that you want to go with. Because like I said, those dogs require serious amounts of training and serious handlers. And if you're not going to put in that work, then you'll have a problem on your hands.
Yeah.
So like I said, that's probably the biggest difference. And then you can also talk about looks. Like I said, the old school Rottweilers, they had the, maybe I guess you'd say the bigger face, the bigger head, and they might have had a longer snout. And now, like you said, you're seeing some of them that's really extreme. They got the big forehead, they got the super short snout, and you even seeing some with the underbites. So those are probably the two things that jump out to me as far as differences from the old school versus, the new school, what you're seeing. Similarities, man, I'd probably say is just still the ability for this dog to do whatever you need it to do. I mean, he had dogs, like I said, he had dogs that were literally just a companion dog that he would just take with him in the truck around the town, and then he had others that would literally guard the property,